If you have ever seen a person having a seizure, you are unlikely to forget it. It's very dramatic. But did you know that seizures can also be silent and undetectable? These seizures are called non-convulsive seizures. Now, until recently, they were really hard to diagnose without using extensive advanced technology. But check this out. A new device is changing all of that. And Dr. Allie Massaro at Providence Swedish joins me now to tell us about this thing. So first of all, let's just start basic. What is a seizure? What is it doing to the brain?
That's a great place to start.
Yeah.
So a seizure is sudden, uncontrolled electrical activity of the brain. There are many different causes of seizures and many types of seizures, and they all manifest a little bit differently. So when most people think of a seizure, they think of a convulsive seizure.
Right.
This is when you may be having a conversation with someone and all of a sudden they stare off into space. They may turn their head to one side, tense up their arms and their legs, and start violently shaking.
Okay.
It's a very alarming thing to witness.
Yes, it is.
But then there's another type of seizure where the brain is still having abnormal electrical activity,
right,
but the patient's not shaking. And so, as you can imagine, this can be difficult to diagnose.
Yeah.
They may just be looking like they're lying in bed.
Okay. So, like, how does it feel for the person?
So oftentimes seizures are painless. Most of the time the patient goes unconscious.
Okay.
And so they have no awareness of what's happening.
Got it. Okay.
It's really just the neurons of the brain are firing uncontrollably.
And so they could just be laying there doing whatever and they would never know.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Okay. So why are they dangerous though? You say they don't hurt, but I know that they are not great. In long term there can be problems, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we usually don't worry about one or two seizures. The seizures we worry about are prolonged seizures or multiple seizures without return to a normal level of consciousness.
Okay.
And we call that status epilepticus. And
Okay.
we know that status epilepticus can cause permanent brain damage.
Yeah.
Things like cognitive disability, memory loss. We also know that if we can recognize seizures early and treat them early, we can help mitigate some of that downstream brain damage.
Okay, so let's talk about the diagnosis and this new technology, because this is key to, as you say, recognizing them early. Let's talk about the diagnosis. How does that happen?
Yeah, so the cornerstone for diagnosing of seizure is a test called an EEG, or an electroencephalogram. So it's a study of brainwave activity. Just like your heart has a normal rhythm and you can do an EKG to measure it, you can do an EEG and measure normal brain activity. Now, historically, it's a pretty labor-intensive test. You need a specialized technician to come to the bedside. You get electrodes glued to your head, which are kind of like little stickers. Not 2 or 3, a couple dozen of them, actually.
Right, all over your noggin.
All over. And it's a kind of a foul-smelling glue. They all have cables coming out, which are bundled together and then hooked up to a large screen that displays the brainwave activity.
And that's scary for the patient. You feel like you're in a science experiment.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So what is this now? Is this what the alternative is?
Absolutely. So now we have a point of care or portable EEG that uses artificial intelligence to diagnose seizures. So this is called the Cerebell, and I brought one to show here. It's essentially a headband made up of 10 electrodes, and it's very easily placed on the patient at bedside, so it just kind of clips in like this.
That's cool. I'd let you put that on me right now. That's normal.
Kind of a one-size-fits-most headband. We've done a couple hundred of these studies at Swedish, and I can't think of a single patient it didn't fit.
Wow.
You then turn these electrodes, push down this plunger where a gel will be released, and it creates a conductive surface with the scalp. And then this is called an EEG recorder, and essentially you press this button, and within minutes, brain activity will show on this screen. And it will alarm. So a loud sound will come from this device if the patient is seizing. Not only will it tell you seizure or no seizure, it'll give you a percentage of seizure burden.
Wow.
So it'll say 50% of the time the patient's been seizing.
This thing is genius. Okay, and so you have this, which is amazing. This is just one of the things, though, that makes you a leader in neurocritical care, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll say we were the first healthcare system in King County to have this device. It's currently available at our Cherry Hill and Issaquah campuses. We're rolling it out to First Hill very soon in the next month or so.
Okay.
And Swedish has always been recognized for providing quality care. The U.S. News and World Report just ranked our neurology and neurosurgical programs as top in Washington State. And I'll say at Cherry Hill, we already have a level 4 epilepsy monitoring unit. So we already can care for the most complex seizure patients.
Which is huge. I know families in Idaho that are coming here actually to Swedish for care because this is the place. So thank you for everything you do, and thank you for everything Swedish does. I actually walked into a Swedish hospital when I thought I was having a stroke once, and they cared for me so beautifully.
I'm so glad to hear.
It was Bell's palsy, but you know what? Amazing work that you do. And by the way, if you want to learn more about seizure care at Swedish Neuroscience Institute, go to swedish.org/neuroscience, just like you see right there on your screen.
This portion of New Day Northwest is sponsored by Providence Swedish.